What's up, guys? This is Lordsevein, and welcome to another Captain's Vlog. The video game that you see in the background here is Super Metroid, and I started playing it this weekend, and I'm loving it. The first time I've ever played it. Never played it before. In fact, I've never played a Metroid. Well, that's not true. I played Metroid Prime, like kind of 25% or so, and I like them. I just haven't finished them for whatever reason. Just never, played them through. I think I rented. What game did I rent back when I was a kid? Oh God, maybe it was Super Metroid. I remember I had played it once and I got stuck somewhere and I just never played it again. But playing it this weekend, I'm really enjoying it. I think it's a fantastic game. I understand now why it's considered a classic, like one of those things you absolutely must play because it's really, really good. It's got really unique environments. It's got, if it were released right now as an indie game or like an iPhone game or something like that, it would be wildly popular because it's got really unique environments. The spriting is really cool. The concept and story is unique, or at least I'm sure it was at the time. Now, there's something like that, but it's really well fleshed out. I think it's a really good game. But it got me to thinking about classics and classics that I may not have played. So, before I ask the question, because I want to ask a question for you guys. I want to, I want to make this kind of an interactive thing or whatever. But before I get into that, I kind of want to explain something. I think that everyone has kind of a set group of games that they had when they were growing up and they played. So, for example, I think the majority of people I know in real life are not well-to-do. In fact, they're relatively poor from poor families or whatever. And so, when people I know were growing up, they didn't have 40,000 games. They didn't pre-order Skyrim because they read about it on the internet. The internet was hardly even existing back when I was a kid. I grew up in the late 80s, early 90s, that kind of thing. And internet was this weird thing that my grandpa had in his office upstairs, and you had to dial up, and it was the most obnoxious noise because he put it over the speaker or something ridiculous like that, and I would look up cheat codes for my games. It was the best thing. But the point is that the gaming industry in general wasn't the same as it is today. So when a new, say, Donkey Kong Country game came out, there may be a commercial on TV or something like that, but it wasn't like this big deal where everyone pre-ordered and whatnot. So as a result, a lot of people got games like they would get gifts for, Christmas or their birthday or the holidays or whatever. And games are kind of viewed as toys, so you wouldn't necessarily have all of them. So I think people kind of grew up with certain games that they played or they had. For example, when I had a Super Nintendo back when I was growing up, I had a couple of really important games, or at least important to me: Jurassic Park, the Super NES version, Super Mario World, Mech Warrior 2, Dungeon Master 2, I think Donkey Kong Country 1 and 2, Super Mario World, I think I may have said that, Mario All-Stars, Illusion of Gaia, that kind of stuff. So those were like the big games that I played. But for example, my mom never bought me Super Metroid. I've never had any experience with that, so as such, I never played it. And then, as I got older, I just didn't pick it up, even though some of my friends said it was really good, it's like, that was a lot of money at the time. So, it's one of those things that it's like, I think people, depending on where they've come from or what they've had when they were growing up, that kind of stuff, will have different experiences. So my question to you is this: what classic games, or what you think people call classic games, have you not played? So if I were to answer my own question, some of them are like, for example, the Metroid games. Never played that. Final Fantasy is another one. I've not played any of them except for Final Fantasy Tactics, which I hear everyone, Final Fantasy, best thing ever, all that kind of stuff. I've never seen them before. I've never, known anything about them. Chrono Trigger is another one, if we're talking about Super Nintendo games. Never played Chrono Trigger. My mom never owned it. She probably would have loved it, but, what would happen is, like, my mom would buy games that are like RPGs at the time, When I was really young, I couldn't really read very well, and then as I got older, I pretty much learned how to read through reading RPGs and whatnot. But she would pick up things like Illusion of Gaia and stuff like that, and then after she was done beating them, and I would try and beat them and play them and stuff like that. So she never picked up anything like that. I'm trying to think. What else? Oh, I never had any of the Street Fighter games. My fighting games were Mortal Kombat. That's what I played with my friends. And so when they bring over Street Fighter, I'm like, oh, this is weird. Who's this chick that does this like crazy multiple kick thing, you know? So, I mean, those are some of the games, at least from Super Nintendo, that I've never played. Another example would be Ocarina of Time. I've only played like the first 15 minutes of that because I never owned it. Instead, I owned Majora's Mask when the Nintendo 64 came out. And so I've either beaten that or almost beaten that. I know I've watched my mom beat it, and that's, you know, once you play a Zelda game, watching someone beating it is pretty much like beating it. You can probably do it when it comes down to it. But I've never, I mean, I get a lot of crap for that. I've never played Ocarina of Time all the way through. People are like, oh, you have to, you should. And I probably will. So I'm trying to fix that now. I should be studying for the GMAT or, you know, doing work because I'm up to my eyeballs in it or any number of other constructive things. But I just can't tear myself away from this classic game. So I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Like, are there classic games that you haven't played? Or which ones would you recommend? Those kinds of things. Let me know in the comments below. I have probably 5 or 6 episodes worth of Doom 3 done, edited. They're sitting, I'm looking at them on my desktop right now. So I could upload them right now, but I want to space them out a little bit. So there'll be probably 4 or 5 episodes this week and then some more for next week. But things are going to be a little crazy because of work, but after that, hopefully they'll settle down and I can get kind of back into my rhythm as summer kind of sets in and it gets a little slower. So other than that, guys, I think that's going to be it for this. So let me know about your classic games and let me know which ones you'd recommend, and maybe I'll pick them up, play them, maybe even do a Let's Play of them at some point in time. But anyway, I'm going to get out of here. Peace, guys.